We'll start first in Syria, where the Islamist head of the rebel group that took control of the country has vowed to pursue former senior government officials responsible for torture and war crimes. Syrian leader Bashar al-Assad fled Damascus from Moscow Sunday, ending more than 50 years of his family's brutal rule. Assad oversaw a crackdown on a democracy movement that first erupted in 2011. That ignited a war that killed 500,000 people and forced half the country to flee their homes, millions of them finding refuge abroad. Well, that war had been mostly dormant until the surprise offensive last week of insurgent group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or HTS, that changed the fate of the country. Our James Andre has been reporting for France 24 from Syria since just before the fall of Bashar al-Assad. He joins me now from Damascus. James, the HTS moving ahead with its political transition, naming a caretaker prime minister already.
Yes, absolutely. Hayat al-Sham, who wants to show basically the world that they are in capacity of controlling and ruling Syria, and also wanting to demonstrate this to the Syrians themselves. This morning we went across the city. We saw that they have deployed forces at on the streets in order to make sure things remain calm. Yesterday there was a lot of celebratory fire in this town centre, and we saw that all the bullet casings have been taken away. Now, it's true that it does appear, for example, here in this market, which is really the heart of the economy here in Damascus, that things appear quite normal. Most shops are open. There are a lot of people here, a lot of people celebrating as well. We saw a group of shoppers and shop owners who were dancing just a few minutes ago with the flag of the three-star Syrian flag of the revolution. And indeed, what people are telling us here is that they're very, very happy with what's happened. I was just speaking to a 17-year-old girl who said, this is fantastic. It's freedom. I feel that I can say whatever I want. I can talk to you and it will be okay. Another man telling me that what he hopes for, he says, I don't know who will be ruling the country. And maybe the guys who took the city will rule the country and that'll be fine. But what I want is an opposition. I want somebody else to have their say, and I want governments to change. I don't want it to be always the same person. Another man as well telling me his story, an older gentleman in his 70s, explaining that he had studied at the American University in Beirut, that he was an engineer, that he arrived here, he's a Syrian, and that he was hoping for a great destiny, but in fact the regime decided to crack down on intellectuals. Basically, he found himself in prison. They pulled his nails out. He showed me, and he also said that they took his passport. He was banned from traveling. And he said, I don't want that to happen ever again in Syria. I want this change to arrive. So you see, globally here, in what is really, I'd say, the heart of middle-class Damascus, I mean, there is a lot of joy and a lot of questions, of course, as to what might come next.
Well, exactly, and that was going to be my next question, James. I mean, where do things go from here? A lot of euphoria, obviously, at the moment, but what are the concrete steps that need to be taken next to create a new Syria?
Well, as you said, caretaker prime minister, of course, and then a government. What Hayat Tahrir al-Sham is trying to do is asking people who are in charge before, under the rule of Bashar al-Assad, to carry on with their work. This was the message they sent out this morning, message that was not heard. Most administrations were closed, universities were closed, schools were closed this morning. But what they're trying to do is to say, look, we can work together, though they're sending a mixed message. They're also saying that they will punish those who tortured the Syrian people. So, of course, this is posing a lot of questions to those in charge of anything important here in Syria. Obviously, anyone who is in charge of a large company or a large administration or in charge of a department of this administration had to be a loyalist to the party. These people, of course, are wondering what might happen to them, to their families, to their houses, if indeed they go to work in the morning. There is a real fear of retribution for a whole part of the Syrian society, and this is obviously something that's going to be very difficult to manage.
James, thank you for that. France 24's James Andre reporting for us from Damascus.